When the plane carrying El Chapo touched down in New York 2 years ago, the world's most wanted narco looked confused, overwhelmed even, asking the DEA agent, "Where am I?" "Nueva York," they told him. His face says it all. The most powerful drug lord ever to live, reduced to tears in the hands of U.S. federal agents. Now, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera facing life behind bars after a months-long trial found him guilty on 10 charges related to his deadly criminal drug enterprise, the Sinaloa cartel.
This conviction, we expect, will bring a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. It is a sentence from which there is no escape and no return.
He managed to elude capture for years, even escaping prison twice.
Guzman made billions pouring poison over our southern border.
Drugs smuggled in bananas, mistresses smuggled in tunnels, diamond-encrusted handguns, and the Sinaloa cartel's corruption, which some say penetrated the Mexican government, with one witness testifying a $100 million bribe was made to former Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. He denies the accusation. The near-mythic tale of El Chapo brought crashing down by an army of law enforcement agencies, chief among them the DEA. Ray Donovan has been hunting El Chapo for the better part of 2 decades.
He really controlled his entire empire, and he did it on purpose. Chapo didn't trust anyone.
And what kind of message does it send to other drug traffickers?
It says very clearly that if we can get our hands on El Chapo, I would say we can get our hands on anyone.
It's been an operation years in the making, involving over 22 agencies and spanning 2 countries.
He is probably one of the most vicious, well-organized bad guys this world's ever seen.
Jack Riley spent an entire career at the DEA tracking down El Chapo.
He planned his business model on cops not talking to cops. And what his downfall was, we got better and better at it.
The final raid leading to his capture and extradition, a gun battle. El Chapo nearly slipping away through the sewer before being apprehended by Mexican authorities. How did the extradition play out?
We were concerned, hey, if he already escaped from this prison, there's an opportunity for him to do it again. Giving credit to the Mexican government, they realized they had to get him out of Mexico.
Just how he managed to evade capture while amassing a $14 billion fortune running the world's largest drug smuggling ring laid bare over his lengthy trial. A trial marked by unprecedented security for jurors, many of whom were scared for their lives.
I think prior to the trial, El Chapo was a household name that was synonymous with wealth and power. And the trial put a spotlight to the real Chapo, who is a ruthless killer, manipulator, a violent drug trafficker, money launderer, liar, and adulterer.
El Chapo was one of the chief architects behind the opioid crisis.
He was the one who decided to add fentanyl to heroin to make the heroin stronger. He didn't care about the consequences. He didn't care about lives being lost.
An expert manipulator who had infiltrated the police.
Ya no andes acarreando a los policías, son los que ayudan, déjalos.
He believed very strongly in a business model, and that business model included corrupting virtually every corner of the Mexican government.
And his influence and power over subordinates was so complete, one testified that he even underwent a number of plastic surgeries to fool authorities on his trail.
If you wanted to work for Sinaloa, you'd have to say where you lived, who your parents are, where your children are, in the event that law enforcement would capture you, so that you wouldn't cooperate.
Another subordinate telling the court about a smuggling operation that brought $500 million of cocaine into L.A. inside cans of jalapenos every year. Then there was the weeping mistress who testified that she and El Chapo fled naked from Mexican Marines through a tunnel hidden beneath a bathtub. A story she detailed in front of Guzman's glamorous young wife, who dutifully sat in court every day of the trial. His sprawling multinational drug empire extended across the globe and into every major American city. From New York to Chicago.
The Chicago Crime Commission designated him as public enemy #1.
Chapo was a genius. He had people working for them that didn't know they were working for him. 100,000 street gang members in Chicago who made their living putting his dope on the street.
His smugglers aided by innovative techniques invented by the drug lord himself. Drugs hidden on boats and in cars, but perhaps most notably in tunnels.
His nickname was Rapido, meaning fast. He was able to turn around drugs in the streets throughout the U.S.
We got access to some of El Chapo's infamous tunnels back in 2016.
Suffice it to say that whoever built this tunnel, probably not their first try.
There's some expertise and experience here.
From above ground, just an average-looking home.
Wow.
Right through here.
At one point, authorities believe there were close to 200 functioning tunnels along the U.S.-Mexico border. One thing seems clear. A wall is no match for the Sinaloa cartel.
It's still the #1 cartel in the U.S. with the most drug markets. Chapo's sons are very much taking over Chapo's side of the Sinaloa cartel, following their father's footsteps, if you will.
Until the end, El Chapo maintained his innocence, his defense team only putting up one witness to the prosecution's 56. The defense claiming he was the victim of an elaborate conspiracy. Now 61, the notorious drug lord has run out of escapes. He exchanged a thumbs up with his wife before being escorted out of the courtroom.
I think about justice for all those families and for all those people that suffer.
There were literally hundreds of people being killed, innocent citizens that were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Those images are seared in my memory because I saw them all the time. Chapo was responsible for that.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.